crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John, and thanks for being here this afternoon. It has been an amazing weekend in Arizona. I know folks in Kentucky and Missouri and other places are dealing with a lot of craziness this weekend and the past few days, but we've been fortunate in Arizona with just the opposite, right? As far as actually had some beautiful weather this weekend, just been in the 80s and that here in Metro Phoenix for us. In fact, this morning it was so nice and cool. I opened everything in the house and just let the cool breeze and that come through. It was like 62 this morning. And so for us in Arizona, that is crazy weather because we definitely should be getting closer to triple digits and all of that. And so I'm very happy. I know my utility company is not as thrilled, but that's okay. They're a for profit and they've made quite a profit in the last few years, even though they continue to raise my rates. But we're not going to go there. This is not a political show. Mm. All right, let's see who is in the chat. So, number one today was Mr. Russ from Western Mass, because that's the best you're going to get. Because I grew up in the South, and all of them syllables get difficult to pronounce up there. Says, "Good afternoon, Chad. I just finished painting Riley." That's an interesting statement. Balloonist from Tucson is in the house. Thanks for being here. She's been out taking pictures of the saguaro blooms on my property. I will tell you, the first year that my cactus bloomed, I was just blown away. And what's interesting is I have a small saguaro now out there, and it still gets 3 or 4 blooms, and there is nothing more beautiful. I'm telling you, folks, if you haven't seen in real life a cactus bloom, it is just amazing. And what kills me is you wait and wait and wait because you know this big, huge flower is on there, and you better be there when it opens and blooms because 24 hours later it is gone. It just cracks me up how quick it happens. Maluna says, Russ, what color did you paint Miss Riley? Sally's here from California. Welcome in. Tap, 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 trying to have patience. Hi, you all. Oh, girlfriend, if you find patience, you let me know because I will be honest with you. I was not born with that. And it's just something that doesn't happen. And so yesterday, interesting enough, was my kind of lazy day. So I spent most of the day cutting fabric. So either starching fabric, drying fabric, ironing fabric, or cutting fabric, it seemed like. Then I happened to throw a shirt on that said, "This is my lazy day" or something. And I was told that I did not know how to lazy. So not sure what's up with that, but yeah, it is what it is. Brian's here. Thanks for being here, Brian. Good afternoon. Mama Jan's here. Mama Jan is such a sweetheart. We were able to run by and see her today, and she actually made stuffed zucchini for us for dinner tonight. And so we had given her some zucchini out of the garden. So far, all we've gotten out of the garden is lettuce. We've got onions now coming in. I mean, big onions coming in. Some tomatoes. We actually got our first, what I would call more beefy tomato. The others look just to me like giant cherry tomatoes, although they're not cherry tomatoes. But we've had some tomatoes come in, but not the volume that I thought we would compared to the number that we planted. And then what else? Blah, 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 blah. Yellow squash and zucchini. And the zucchini is coming in huge, folks. I'm telling you, like, this zucchini is like, um, I don't know, 20 inches, 20. I mean, you go up there and it's a little pickle looking thing. And the next week it is massive. So we have had to give quite a bit of zucchini away already, although we do want to do blah, blah, blah. I do want to make some zucchini bread, and um, I've been asked to make zucchini cookies, which I've not ever made. And I used to get those type of recipes out of my mother's Southern Living cookbooks because she had, I think, volume 1 through 200. I mean, I never saw so many Southern Living. And I think most of those got given away after decisions were made for her. So I'm not sure what's going on. Hey, Jean, thanks for being here this afternoon. Mama Jan says the vodka and bloody mix just arrived. So Mama Jan's been trying to cut back, and yet that was one of her Mother's Day's presents. Sorry, guys, I have just been running around all day and have yet to have hardly anything to drink. Jeannie's here. Thanks for being in here this afternoon. Judy's here from Northern California. She said it's been windy there. Charlotte's in the house. Thanks for being here, Charlotte. Look at Miss Joydy. Thank you for being on with me this afternoon, Miss Joydy. I actually saw you chatting up a few other rooms today. So I've been able to actually be on um, YouTube today and actually caught several things going on in YouTube and saw Miss Joydy pop up a few times in a few different spots today. See what else. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Jay DeVella's here. Hey, John, Jody from PvP. Hey, Jody, thanks for being here this afternoon. It is much appreciated. Oh, and we have beets. Yes, Mama Chan says you also have beets. We do. We haven't made those yet. We're going to scrub them down and bake those, roast those tomorrow. So we'll see how that turns out. Danielle's here. Danielle has had a busy weekend. She just seems to keep popping up all over the place, too. So that is amazing. Jody says I was getting my snacks from the fridge, right? We all need our snacks. I tell you what, I just got a nice order from the Sam's Club because I don't like to go to the warehouses if I don't have to, especially Costco because we just renewed our membership and went to Costco a couple of weeks ago. And I like Costco, but it's just always such a cluster. It's just the parking lot and getting in and getting out. Actually, I can't complain because we literally walked up to check out. We were the second person. And yes, we're that person that had the cart was just falling over because, again, we don't go that often. So when we do, I stock up. And it didn't help that we ended up buying an office chair and blah, blah, blah. And then $700 later, I was like, yeah, that's why we don't go to Costco very often. It's so much cheaper that I can order from Sam's and Sam's delivers. And so I don't see all that impulse stuff. I really try to stay out of the store because I have a little issue with impulse control. I don't know if you all noticed that or not. Jody says, I love being here with you and the gang. Jody, you are amazing. We appreciate you. Danielle says, you got to share the love. All right, so let's see. Yes, we went. Actually, we went to Costco right when they opened up. It was kind of crazy, but I've got a lot of work done this weekend. I was kind of proud of myself. If you have not started cutting, um, if you plan to join the holiday quilting bee next week on Memorial Day, it will be 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Arizona time. So if you're East Coast, that's 10 a.m. If you're Central, that would be 9 a.m. Mountain time, yeah, it would be 8 a.m. But if you plan on joining the holiday quilting bee, I started pulling out some things so we can give some gifts and prizes away and do some things like that. If you want to follow the sparkle and stripe, I thought I had the pattern in here, but I don't because I had it in the other room. I've been cutting it. I actually have been really trying to cheat in anything that I can possibly get done on the AccuQuilt has been my intention. I did get a portion of that cut on the AccuQuilt. I'm really surprised at how big that quilt is going to turn out and how much even hand cutting I had to do after that. So it took quite a while for me to cut all the pieces for that quilt. So I'm anxious to see it come together. I do not have a sample and I have not sewn that pattern. So we will be doing that together for the first time and hopefully it turns out. And if not, we'll make it John's way and we'll make it work, right? Because that's just what we do. Danielle, look at Danielle, me impulse buying. So I may have a confession. Um, this was the 35th Bill's Black Bag weekend. I did go to Bill's Black Bag during my lunchtime on Friday to grab. I need it when 108 is 40% off. You cannot afford not to go buy that, especially if you have a long arm. So I ran down because I always buy 3.5 yards of something 108, so I can start building that stash because that stash builds a lot slower at its cost. And I needed gray fabric because I found this pattern on AccuQuilt that I'm just dying to do. It's called Twirling Ornaments Wall Hanging. So I really, really like this pattern. I ended up, I'm actually doing it with a gold flake, reds and greens, but I am doing the reds and greens. I am doing a white background, but I needed a gray because I didn't have a solid gray. So I ran down and grabbed some gray fabric for that. Unfortunately, you'll see tomorrow, I just finished recording a shopping spree video, and I may have ended up spending a couple of $100 and buying some discounted fabric in that. But it is where it is, right? So anyway, so you'll get to see another shopping spree because John did go find some things. Hey, Candace, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. See, that's why we love Sally. She's a member of that Fabric Impulsive Club, right? Impulses just happen. And it didn't help that when I got to the store, they were like, "Did you notice up in the classroom section? They're like, every fabric in there now, we just loaded up in there is all on clearance." Some of the fabrics were like $4 a yard. And when you're talking about 10 and 12 as the original price, and then you get it marked down like that, and especially now the fabric is going for $16 a yard. Like, I mean, I just started this, guys, a couple of years ago, and I thought 10.95 was ridiculous for fabric, and now I'm seeing 15.95. It's just, I don't know, it scares me. Judy says I put my sparkle and stripes pattern somewhere in a safe place and had to go back up to the shopping in Grass Valley to buy a new one. Been there, done that. Just crazy enough. If you all did win the free pattern last week, you should have gotten it in the mail. Hopefully yesterday or Friday. I did mail them out on Monday, so hopefully you are getting them. If you didn't get it, hopefully it'll be there tomorrow or Tuesday. I know it's getting close, especially if you needed to get some fabric and that if you want to participate. But all is good. And I know I sent one to Canada, so that might. I'm not sure how that gets across the U.S. anymore. So we'll see. Jody says, Sally, I guess I have too. I have loads of fabric in my car from my trip to Joann's several days ago. I have just avoided Joann's. I would kind of like to have went and looked, but like I said, our store out here, I'm just not impressed with. So I've just kind of avoided that. I do believe it is a beautiful pattern, Inez. And I will say I'm got really excited Friday because I did take my Steam Seam 2 and get that all pressed on the gold fabric that I'm using. And then I managed to cut out the dozen gold stars that I'm going to need to applique on there. And I don't know, just when you got those stars cut out in that, it was like, wow, that's really going to be a beautiful quilt when you put that gold with the red and blue and just that red, white, and blue. So I am anxious to see what it looks like stitched out. Brian says I did the same thing. Jody also bought yarn just because it was on sale. Don't know what I'm going to make yet. Yeah, unfortunately, I have 4 bins full of yarn from when they had Yarntastic and that a few years ago. But the plan is I wanted to crochet at night while I watch TV because I can't always be in the YouTube studio or the long arm room and that. I want to spend time with special people and just have that time together as um, friends, couples, whatever you want to say. But I thought, well, I could always just sit and crochet. So I bought lots of yarn so I could crochet. I bought all new crochet hooks because it's been a while. I downloaded several patterns, and finally I had to move my crochet bag somewhere because I got tired of moving it. So now I need to dig it back out to at least sit there and make me feel a little guilty, but probably not so much. Zaza's in the house. Welcome, Zaza. Thanks for being here. She's always fun to have on. Linda's Trendy Threads is here. Good afternoon. Welcome in. All right. Sorry. All of a sudden, my chat jumped from the middle to all the way to the bottom. Blah, blah, blah. That's when Candace going to use crochet. Candace. Candace says, I want to sew with you, but I have yard work and pressure washing to get done next weekend. Oh, no, that's awful. That is not fun. But you know what? I absolutely, I've never liked yard work. I can't stand yard work. And I don't like pressure washing. I've just been fortunate enough. I haven't always lived in homes that needed it. But there's nothing like getting your yard done, though, right? It's just the satisfaction. And when you walk down the sidewalk and look up and go, wow, that my house just looks great. I do like that. Brian says he's just starting to crochet. It'll take a while for me to get it, John. Oh, Ina says it's going to take a while for her to get it. I wondered. I had no idea, but I did. I did run down to the post office and get a special stamp and all that. So hopefully it will get there without any issue. But it's just so funny. It just hope the Canadian postal system is a little bit better than ours, right? It's just so crazy anymore. I was also says that's why she EPPs. Yeah. I still need to do that. Danielle's promised to teach me how to do the gnomes that she convinced me that I couldn't live without. And she was right. I bought all 15 of them, but I have yet to even get into that. All right. All right. So what else is going on? So we talked about cutting, making sure you get things ready for the quilting bee. Talked a little bit about shopping bag. Oh my gosh. And then I found this new crazy person on YouTube, which is not new, but it was new to me, was Matthew over at MX Domestic. I had not seen his channel before. So I started watching some of his stuff. He had some beautiful fabrics. And yes, I got sucked into buying a few more fabrics because he had a 25% off coupon this weekend. So it was like, how do you not, when it's 25% off? So I ended up getting a really good deal. So yes, so I've got more fabric coming because I need more fabric. Because at least fabric doesn't spoil and go bad. So yes, I will do a unboxing when that stash comes in. And but I have enjoyed listening to him. He has some a lot of different things to say in that because I do like to mix it up a little bit. But he did talk about Cloud9 fabrics, and I did go out on Cloud9 website. Man, Cloud9 makes some really cool different things, and what really caught my eye is um, he has Frank Lloyd Wright fabrics. So when you're into that mid-century modern, they have some of the coolest decoupage, mid-century, all those colors, all those weird shapes so I ended up getting some of that. Most of it's pre-orders. That's not going to be here at least till the fall. But I'm really anxious. I ended up not buying yardage. I ended up buying, I think, back quarters, just because I thought that might give me more flexibility on what I wanted to do. And what I've been cutting with the AccuQuilt, the back quarters seem to really work for me. So that's what I've been doing. Um, oh, there's Miss Kathy. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Always fun to see new people jumping in. So, Miss Kathy is another dear, dear friend out of the Quilt Club. Brian says, I know how to do a chain and a single crochet. That's about where I'm at. I can do a double crochet, but yeah, I still need to mix it up a little bit. What else? So, what have I worked on this weekend? So, I did cut, I have started cutting this for the AccuQuilt. It did take a little patience because it does have so many shapes in that, but I got that cut. I decided I really want to work on this that Russ did last year, and it's because of Russ that I bought this. This came from Carrie Quilt Company, and I think he bought it at QuiltCon 2024. And of course, he's went home, put his together, but it is what it is. But I dug this out today. It just popped in my head, and I was like, I really would like to get that done. And then realized that when I looked at the pattern, that I will be able to use my AccuQuilt to cut all this out. And I know that's to be true because I asked Mama Jan when I went over to see her, and she told me I could use my AccuQuilt to cut all that. So that will make it much easier for me. Um, What else? What else do I? Oh, so I got another quilt tree done. I am working on that. I ended up getting one, two, three, four, five, six table runners and or wall hangings done this weekend. They are quilted, they are trimmed, and they are just waiting for me to do this um, pile. I want to say stash to get this pile of binding done. So I thought I would work on that tonight while we were together so I can start doing all the binding on those things. So I'm excited to get that done. I think that's going to be cool. And it's given me a lot of practice, right? To get used to what binding looks like in that. And I'm even doing stripes, right? I have never done stripes, and I'm sure I'm not going to do those exactly the way they should be done, but that's okay. John, everybody had to learn at some point, and so this is the opportunity for John to learn that as well. So what else is going on? I did start using. I have figured out that John really likes when he uses starch on his fabric. So I have been starching like crazy to the extent that I have gone through quite a bit of best press in that, and then I discovered magic, and I like the magic from Faultless from Niagara, I guess, way better. So I have switched and started buying that now that I'm ran out of the best press, and I think all of that kind of stuff just makes such a difference, right? So I don't know. I am not pre-washing fabric. I don't think I should have to, but I will tell you it's between using my AccuQuilt more and um, starching my fabrics before I cut them and sew them, I think has really helped me a whole lot. I know everyone does it different, and one thing I have accepted is I appreciate each and everyone's opinion about how I should be doing things, and I'm figuring out now finally like what works for me, right? So that makes all the difference. Um, See, I look away for 2 seconds and everything's going on. Um, Made my list and packing later for my quilt retreat starting tomorrow through Friday noon. Eat, sleep, so in the same building, food is made outside for on site for us. It's great. That is awesome, Sally. I am so excited for you and can't wait to hear about that retreat. Linda's here, Trendy Threads. I was able to finish a Crown Royal quilt top and start a stretch one this week. Haven't been in the sewing room for 2 weeks and was great. It just makes such a difference, right? When you can get in the room and start feeling feeling like you're checking some boxes and accomplishing some things. I just it is my safe space and my quiet space, even though I may not be the quiet one. So we shall see. But it really does help me cope with the craziness of my job and work and what I deal with during the week, and just being able to come and kind of kick back and just say, "Wow, that's I just needed that time to myself." It's funny. Now, Jake here sometimes acts up and he gives me some problems. And Jake has learned some new words. I'm sure that they didn't teach him wherever they made this machine, but he's learned some new language, but that's okay. It doesn't appear on YouTube, and that's the main thing, right? Because we don't use those words on YouTube. But we sometimes do use those say things in this room that shouldn't always be broadcast, right? So, but it is what it is. And then I've been cutting all the binding with my AccuQuilt. So I really like that. I better turn the ringer off because it has been windy here today, which means my ring cameras and security system continue to go off. So my neighbors laughed. They were like, Your house is like Fort Knox. I'm like, yep, certainly is. I don't know. Because I travel and do things. And so I don't want my house just sitting vacant and not guarded. So I do. I mean, I have cameras everywhere. I have a security system. I make sure that I protect my property. I pay too much to not have it taken care of. What else? Oh, Judy says it's hard to call Russ a bad influence when John is so easily led. Yeah, I won't disagree with you, but I still think we need to blame Russ. Russ has big shoulders. He's all good. Um, oh, move my mouse because I've been sewing. Jody says I think Russ is a good influencer. He talked me into buying a few things too, and he doesn't even know it. Right? Does. I mean, Russ is, but yeah, I'll tell you what, there's not a better guy out there. I have a lot of respect for Russ. I love to aggravate Russ, but he is just he's become such a good friend for me and just a good sounding board. And I can ask him different questions, whether it's about YouTube or about quilting or whatever. And he's just a nice guy. Him and Stephanie, I just think so much of. They're just who they are. And I have never, the funny thing is, I have yet to get to meet Russ in person. So that is coming. We will see. It won't be coming in 26 or 27 apparently, because QuiltCon has decided they're going to Atlanta. So I will say I'm disappointed. But apparently, I guess the rotation is um, Raleigh and Atlanta and here possibly. But I think it's funny that they would go East Coast 2 years in a row. But they did not call and ask for my opinion. Had they, I would have given them my opinion, but for some reason they didn't seem like they thought they needed it. So it is what it is. Um, oh, Danielle says, what did I miss? We're picking on Russ as usual. Um, cut your stripe binding on the bias. It will look much better. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to look we'll see. I think I did cut on the biased, so we will see when I get this sewn together how it goes. Because that's what I like about using Pam Heller's approach and how she shows to cut and put your binding together. It seems to have really made a difference for me. And again, every little bit helps. And so the more accurate you get with different things, the better it is. And so that's just one more thing to work on. Yes, see, look at that. How cool is that? You can't even see where I seamed that together. All right, what else? Yeah, don't leave the cameras off when you have all those toys and fabric. Amen, Brian. I tell you, that's. Oh, I turned the sound off, but believe me, the cameras are never off. They're recorded. I pay Ring so much money every year to make sure that everything is recorded and captured. And fortunately, I have really good neighbors. I actually have two Gladys Kravitz that live right next to me. So I have one on each side. So they always let me know. It's funny. I noticed someone in your yard the other day, and they were there for about 40 minutes. And like when I went down to, say something to them to see what they were doing, they left and that, and it's like, yeah, it was my landscaper. But again, all good. I'm glad that y'all keep an eye on it and know exactly what's going on my property. But just so you know, the minute they walked in, all the cameras went off to let me know somebody was on the property. So it's what it is. All right, let's keep going. See if we can get this done. I won't get it ironed tonight, but at least it would be nice to have all of this sewn together. I'd love to go on. Jody says I'd love to go on a cruise retreat with Stephanie. Yeah, I am really torn. I'll be honest. Um, I had talked about it, and we had thought about possibly going because I know they're going. I think at 27, and I even talked to Russ about it a little bit. I think it would be fun, especially since they're going out of the West Coast on that one. My problem is though, I've been on probably about 14 cruises, and I just don't know that I want to be on a ship in the middle of the ocean doing all of that and then give up time to be locked in a room quilting and that. I'm not sure. So I don't know what we're going to do. Um, but we have looked at it. We did talk about it. I just need to figure out if that's really what we want and how we want to spend vacation and that. So we'll have to see. What else were we talking about? I talked about magic starch spray. I have to keep a list, guys, or I forget. My mind just goes everywhere, kind of like a squirrel, right? As I said, I thought it was supposed to be East Coast and then West Coast year about. Yes, the West Coast one I think is 27. And the last time Stephanie talked about it, they had not posted it, but I think since then they have posted that cruise. But don't quote me or hold me to that because I'm not sure. Stephanie's been so busy; her channel's been all over the place lately. So but I believe 27 is when they're doing the West Coast cruise, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's going out of Washington. So I think it's kind of like an Alaska Canadian type cruise. So we'll see. Um, I do enjoy cruising. I haven't, I just went on one for Halloween, had a good time. But I will tell you guys, I am super super excited and stoked. I found a new retreat center here in Arizona. It's actually over in the Glendale area. And so we already have the New Year's Eve retreat scheduled. And then I actually have 4 dates, I think it is, for 2026. And those dates are available. We're currently working to get under contract. And as soon as we are able to lock those dates in, um, we will be able to talk about we'll get everything going and post it out on the website about the new retreat center. It is over in the Metro Phoenix area. It's just outside of Glendale. It is a mega mansion. I wish I could live in the house, let alone just rent it for the weekend or a quilting retreat. But it's set up and managed for 14 people, which I think is perfect for a quilting retreat. Everyone gets a 6-foot table. There are 4 cutting stations. There are every room has a I think there's 2 to a room. I think the master does have like 4 to a room, best I remember. Like I said, I've got to get some of the details worked out still, but there's plenty of beds, baths, and that. The kitchen is huge. It actually is designed and set up so all 14 folks can sit and eat at the same time. Um, and plenty of cutting stations, plenty of ironing stations, all that kind of stuff, and an in-ground pool. And so a beautiful lanai, nice sitting area. So somewhere where we can go put our jammies on, which my jammies are gym shorts, but have jammies on and our slippers, which, by the way, if you see me at a quilting retreat, I don't wear slippers. From the South, we just go barefoot. But I am very, very excited to get that put together. We have several dates already in mind that we want. We have different activities that we'll be hosting during the retreat. And hopefully, some of you will be able to come meet us in person and just have a fun few days together. It's actually 30 minutes exactly from the Phoenix airport. So we shall see. So making a few changes and rearranging a few things. So once I'm able to get all of that together, we will get that announced and start moving forward. Um, I don't know if Russ is still chatting or not, but yes, Russ is absolutely planning to go to QuiltCon. Last time we talked, I won't be able to. Danielle says she's got her score blocks are done. Telling you what, that woman can knock out so much stuff. It's just crazy. Zaza said quilt cruise doesn't appeal to her. I just, I don't know. I think it would be fun to kind of be, but I will tell you, like, I went to the last retreat I went on. Some of these retreats where they have 50 people, 60, that's just too much for me. I was watching So Yeah the other day. They were talking about their retreat. I think they have 75 people. That just doesn't appeal to me. It's like I don't want to go with 75 people. I want to be able to kind of, get to know people, kind of enjoy, have the interaction, that kind of stuff. And that's why when I found this retreat center that houses 14, she actually has two. The other one houses 16. So we may end up trying both, but the one that is 14 is so new, so modern, and just such a beautiful property. It's like, that just makes sense. That says Guys Craft 2, and that's where I want to be. So that is the plan. Uh, Charlotte says, I finished the 100 Stars quilt this week. It's from my grandson. Oh, look at you. How awesome is that? My daughter got her school quilt and tote bag Thursday. She was shocked when she opened it, which was good. So she's really anxious to get it to the teachers. I think she said she's waiting till field day because, I forget, like nowadays, you just can't walk in and go to school and see the teacher and talk to people because you got all these security concerns and all this other stuff. And it's like, I just, I could not be a good parent nowadays, right? I was just used to walking in, going to see my teachers, my kids' teachers and that. I forget how much life has had to change for a lot of different reasons, and unfortunately, not for positive reasons. Um, but that is exciting, Charlotte. I know you're thrilled to have that done. Jody says too far for her to travel, unfortunately. I get that, believe me. Jen says she doesn't have any interest in cruising either. Thanks, Jordy. Thanks, Jordy. Linda, I've always wanted to do a quilt retreat. Maybe one day I will. I think I'll tell you, Miss Linda's, it's about picking the right retreat and going for the right reason. Do you do it for some of the social aspect? Do you do it because you're signing up because you want to learn something specific? The last one I went to was all about works in progress and just getting things done. And it was like, that didn't really make sense at the end of the day for me to just take my own project down there to sew on, to work on. I'd much rather had something provided or something different that I could work on, and but I think you find what makes sense for you and how we put it together. So who you connect with, who is doing what appeals to you the most, and what just resonates with you. Because I'll tell you what, they're not cheap. Renting the facilities is certainly not cheap, and trying to provide any type of supplies, meals, and all that, again, is not cheap. It's just, and of course, our the economy has just gotten so crazy and wild. So um, we have to make sure. All right, what I'm doing. Come on. Okay. Yeah. Not thought. All right. Let's see what else is going on. I've always wanted to do a quilt retreat. Sounds like fun. I'd sign up for that retreat. Me too. Never been on one. What color did you use, Charlotte? Oh, poor Brian hadn't been on a retreat or a cruise. Brian, we're going to get you socialized and get you out there. I promise you. Oh, no way. She said, Sally said the one she's going to is a working farm. I bet that is going to be a hoot. I can imagine being out on a like a working farm like that for the week and getting to spend time with folks. Wow. All right. Now I understand why. See, I tell you, Jake always wants to test me at times. Susan says I find So Yeah too expensive. Tell you what, when I looked at it, it was a lot more than I was willing to pay, um, and then especially they talked about you staying on the street at the hotel and you do that. the one thing I did like about Stitch in Heaven is it was in a retreat center. It was big, but at least I could get up in the middle of the night and go sew if I wanted to. It was just all right there. And I think that if you're staying down the street at a hotel, and that to me just kind of takes the takes some of the appeal away. I think that's part of just being together collectively as a group is that everybody gets to chat, be together, have dinner together. It's just you kind of want that whole immersion aspect to it, or at least that's what I want. So I'm putting my retreats together the way I think I would want to go on a retreat, and hopefully others agree. If not, then I will have just invested a lot of money for no reason, but we'll see. What else? John and all other guys in here, I need your opinion. I was going to make a queen-sized quilt for my uncle for his birthday. Due to the time frame, I'm thinking of doing lap quilt instead. Man, did Danielle just open herself up? She says that she needs our opinion. See what happens? Um, I'll be honest, Danielle. I use lap quilts quite frequently, so I hate canned refrigerated air, but I can't stand to be hot either. So, but you will find me almost anytime that I'm on the sofa. If anything, I usually have my knees covered because I don't wear anything year round but shorts and t-shirts in the house ever. And so, but my knees tend to get kind of arthritic like almost is what I would say. And because of that, I tend to um, like a quilt, and I don't want to wrestle a big, huge quilt for that reason. Now, it's nice to have a nice quilt on your bed too, but I would be very happy if you made me a lap quilt. That was not a hint for a lap quilt from you, by the way. Just saying. There's other things that you make that I am still jealous of, so we'll barter and talk at some point. All right, who else? What else is going on, guys? This has been crazy tonight. Yes, finally. All right. Here, Joy, I go to see. I want to be a small group of people. Yep, I agree. Danielle. Brian says lap quilt. Um, she says he's 6 foot tall, so I'm thinking a tall. Yes, I would think a tall lap quilt. I got to have my knees and footsies covered. Hey, Arlie, thanks for being here this afternoon. Thanks for dropping in. Ines says I've been on one cruise and I don't like unless I can see. Don't like water unless I can see the bottom. I get that. I don't know. So what else were we talking about? Where am I tonight? Oh, I watched Mona did that today, and she had a bunch of people on. Danielle's had people on. It's crazy. I need to get a few people on the channel. I need to get better about that, and I am going to try to get some people lined up starting in June, probably later in June. But if you got suggestions of folks that you would like to see on Sunday afternoon with me, uh, feel free to drop me an email or let me know. I listened to Mona today, and I could hear her down the hall. Uh, those people were having such an amazing time together, and I just had to laugh because I'm like, okay, that's how I get in trouble with Danielle, because I end up on Danielle's channel or she comes over to mine, and Danielle just cracks me up. She is such an amazing lady, and we always have such a good time together. And I was like, wow, that's I don't know that would be always good for us. So, but I would like to get some new folks on the channel and that. I do appreciate, like Sean reached out to me early and starting my channel, and it was always fun to be on with him. And I would like to pay some of that forward in some of the same courtesy. And yes, I'm looking because I have every color under here for threads, except I need a black thread. So I'm trying to see if I can find my black thread so I can finish getting the binding pieces put together, because I know I have black somewhere. Oh, so 1 second. It's over here. All right, guys. Sorry. I knew I had black in here somewhere. I was like, where would I have put that? I always. I, the funny thing is, all my thread collection is kept in the other room, but this piece happened to be available because it was over in the embroidery area. I still need to work on the embroidery stuff. I've got all those window panes that we got stitched on the pin needle that I need to get put together. I need to get those cut down to size, and I need to start putting the sashing and that on those. I'm anxious to get some of that done. I do want to get something because I'd like to be in our quilt guild has a show in February next year, and I'll get that posted on the Facebook page. And that BBMK and some different ones came out last year, or yeah, last year in 24. So it would be great to see them again in 26. Our guild does it every other year, and so, but I'd like to have something hanging in the show. So we will figure that out. Don't know that I'll be judged. I may just put something in the show. I get judged enough at work. I don't know that I need to be judged at home too. I am. I tend to be very sensitive. We don't want Don upset. Oh, Sally says she has a fear of water. She almost drowned when she was little. That would certainly put a fear in me. I enjoy swimming. I will tell you. I don't. I like the water. I enjoy being in the water. I believe it or not, a few years ago was actually an Ironman and used to run triathlons. And I have a whole wall of medals. I did a half Ironman in Raleigh, North Carolina, which was a 1.2 mile swim, and then a 56-mile bike ride, and then a 13.1 mile run. Um, what made it more fun was half the run was uphill. So and it wasn't so bad, except it was the first half both times. So, at some point you keep running, running, running. And you're like, okay, I understand if I'm going down, unfortunately, I must go up. And so, anyways, but I did finish it. I did get my medal from Ironman and did all that. But I will say the one thing, oh man, that threw me off was the one thing that did throw me off was during the swim, you're out there in the middle of this big, huge lake, swimming, doing all this craziness. Sorry, the little magnet piece fell out of my bobbin case. Um, and so I'm out there in the middle of this lake doing the swim, and you're swimming with all these competitive people, and I'm like, look, guys, I'm just here to get this done and I get my medal. I mean, so they put you in groups, but there's like 100 in each group, or maybe 200. They're swimming over top of you. They're kicking you in the head. It's just most bizarre thing ever. And then I remember not knowing because no one had told me. I looked down and I saw someone in the water, like watching me, almost reaching out to grab me. No one told us that, or no one told me that they had frogmen in the water in scuba suits to make sure that none of us drowned, which was great. But it was like, it scared the living bejeebus out of me. I was like, are you kidding me? It was awful. So, anyways, so now I'm not sure how this goes in. Oh, there it is. Did I get it? Look at me. I got this and I did it live on the air. All right. Now I got to put a black bobbin in. So that was very interesting, but I did get it done. So I have my Ironman medal. It's the only Ironman or half Ironman that I did. It was about a year or so before I moved out here. And I just, I tell you what, I used to train um, 2.5 to 3 hours a day. And I just not willing to give that kind of time commitment again. So I don't know that I'll ever go back and do that. But I was in the best shape of my life. It was amazing. Um, I could not at the time, as you can tell, I do enjoy eating. Back then, I couldn't put weight on. It was ridiculous. It was crazy, just because I was burning calories so many and so fast. So, uh, oh, Jody says I'd love to see something from you in the quilt show. I appreciate that. Thank you. We will see. I got to definitely get my skills up, but I am doing better slowly but surely. Unfortunately, I have an amazing quilt guild with some really cool, awesome folks, and that just makes all the difference too. Sally says, what's great about cruise? You don't make a bed, you don't cook a meal, you don't wash dishes. Do as you please. I just love watching the ocean peaceful and usually. And Jody says, don't forget room service. And I like the fact that, like on Virgin, they include room service with your meal and or cruise, so you don't pay any extra. And I had breakfast out on the balcony a few mornings. The only thing is, Virgin, and I'm not sure if the others have copied it, but Virgin after I think it's 11 o'clock or midnight. If you order something room service, then you have to pay for you pay a service fee. So, but still, I enjoyed being spoiled and pampered. What I like most about the cruise is you go in, you sit down, you get to order off this menu, you get all this stuff put together, and when you're done, you just get up and leave. And that was really cool. I was like, man, I like that. I like, no one asks me, no one brings me a check, no one asks me for money. You kind of get spoiled doing that. They don't seem to have that same philosophy when I go to restaurants around here, but that's okay. I don't eat out too much because they always want to bring me a bill. I know, says Sally. I look at the ocean every day from my window. How cool is that? Inez lives in a cool spot then. Sally says she lives in the desert. Poor Sally. She moved from the desert back to the desert. What's up with that girl? I am very, very excited because it's less than 30 days. I will be at the beach in South Carolina with two grandkids that I get to spoil, I get to be with. And this year we did rent just a little bit larger house. So Papa John will have a little space when he needs it because he is not used to being around children that long. Um, but they're good kids. That's what I keep telling my daughter. My daughter goes, "Oh, they drive me nuts." I said, "They're supposed to." That's why you appreciate grandchildren when you get to them because she has really good kids. Her kids are just such sweet kids and that, but they're kids. And the boy is all boy. I mean, it is crazy. He's just full out 24/7. And I love it. Couldn't happen to a nicer family. So, yes, I plan on being at the ocean with them and I plan on spoiling them rotten. The only thing is, I got to sit on the stupid flight for about 5 hours to get to Charlotte, so then I can run literally. Like when my flight lands, um, my other flight's supposed to be boarding because American thinks that that type of connection is fine, and I have to blame American because I did not book that flight, and yet they keep changing my flights, and every time they do, they put me back on this one, and it's like, guys, I don't, you're going to yell at me if I miss the flight and then make it impossible. It's like, so I didn't book it. Why do you keep insisting that I have to, they've changed my flight like 4 times in the last year that I've booked it. You're all killing me. So we'll see. I do need to look at that again tonight and see what ended up with that. But I cannot wait to be at the ocean and the beach. I love, love, love being at the ocean. So she's Inez is 5 minutes from the Atlantic. How cool is that? Linda says she lives out in the country where it is peaceful and quiet. And I bet it does get peaceful and quiet at night. The only problem is, and I love to hear the crickets and that at night. I just worry if I hear other sounds. I don't want to hear other sounds, Especially don't want to hear rattling sounds. I can tell you that. A bit coward when it comes to those animals. What else? Well, Sally says she lived in North Central Texas for about 25 years and she does miss that. Sally says she ended up back where her roots were. I get that. Um, you know, I was born and raised in Kentucky. Um, have a lot of good things to say about Kentucky. I have no desire to ever go back. I don't have any good family relations there, so that I think is helps turn things off for me. And at the same time, it's just I don't know. I kind of found my piece of heaven when I moved to Arizona. I'm happy in Arizona. I like everything about Arizona. I like people in Arizona. Might be different if I didn't have such an amazing group of friends here. And I mean, it's just really nice. I mean, I'm lucky that I live in a community that offers a lot to do and a lot of activities. I belong to about 7 different clubs and frequent those clubs. It's interesting. I've got friends that text me this morning and said, "When are you going back to your park home?" We're back up in the area. They're actually about an hour and a half past where I'm at, and wanted to know when I'm back up because even though they live here in the off season, they're more like snowbirds now. They go up there for the summer, and they want us to come up and have dinner and lunch with them and do all that. And I thought, how nice that we're friends here, but we can also be friends up there, and kind of cool. So I am, they just bought a new place. So I am anxious to get up and see what their new place looks like. So that will be fun. Anxious to get back up and get my place straightened and cleaned up because I do want to spend some weekends there in the summer. I wish I could spend more time there, like during the week, but I got to be on site 3 days a week. So that just doesn't play out for me. And that's fine. I knew, when I bought this place, I knew what the requirements in that were. So it is what it is. I just feel guilty because I feel like I pay a lot of money just to have a place sit part time. Although when I retire, I know I could use it more, but I'm not sure. So we are giving it this year to see how we feel about it, and I may end up selling it next year. Haven't decided yet. So I want to give it this year to really be able to kind of indoctrinate myself and spend some time with it and figure that out. But I don't know. If I sell it, I'd have more money for fabric, right? So, because you can never have too big a stash of fabric. So, we shall see. I did watch a really good movie this weekend called The Groomsmen. I am a Hallmark fanatic. Jonathan Bennett was in it along with Tyler. It was really a cute movie about 3 guys that have been best friends since summer camp when they were 12, and they each end up finding their true love and getting married in that. So if you're looking for something wholesome to watch, because that is the one advantage to watching some Hallmark movies is you don't get into all the craziness, and sometimes I just need that. Tonight we are rewatching Harry Potter, um, the first movie, because I did join the Audible book club, and I have managed to get through the first book of Harry Potter, and I've kind of become hooked on that. And I actually looked at some Harry Potter fabric because I do need to make some Harry Potter stuff. If you're familiar with Harry Potter, I am a Hufflepuff, according to the um, website. So I wanted to be in Gryffindor, but apparently not. So I'm a Hufflepuff, an old badger. But when you read about them, it really does kind of match my personality about being sincere and just a good person. So I'll take it. But I do want to make some Harry Potter stuff. So yet something else to add to the agenda. Katrina. Oh, Linda's. I grew up in Louisville. So I grew up actually out in Middletown, if you're familiar with the Louisville area. So I lived in Middletown. I bought a house in Jeffersontown, Town for a while. then moved back to Middletown where I grew up, and then just moved away. Once I moved away, I ended up down in the Bowling Green area. I went to school over in the Moorhead, Ashland area. So I lived all over the state. It was crazy. Trina says, horrible about London, Kentucky. We would stop there and transfer the kids to grandma. Thoughts for beginning of summer vacation? Yes, it was. Actually, one of the companies I worked for, I lived in Lexington for a while, and they had an office in London, Kentucky. And I used to I've worked out of that office a few times in that, and it's just such a different group of people. I mean, it's definitely Kentucky, but just good, salt of the earth people, right? Just amazing. Brian says he's a Ravenclaw. Look at that. Well, guys, I appreciate that you let me rattle on tonight. I have a few postings, a few things going up this week, so hopefully you'll get to hear from me a little bit during the week and not just now. I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Think about joining the Holiday Quilting Bee on Memorial Day. I'll be back live on next Sunday. And as always, until next time, happy crafting.